the second half. Louise has to grow up. We've talked about several scenes where this could be worked for. The Croton Cottage Palmer raid, the State Department scene, and we seem to be in agreement. Louise's final scenes are staggeringly powerful, but they seem unearned as tragedy because of her failure to develop beyond frustrated wifeliness after 1917. This is, by the way, far from being a merely political consideration on my part. I think it possible an audience will ask a question of the central relationship of the film if one of the partners fails to show meaningful development. In short, they may get bored as hell by someone who criticizes the hero from the bench, especially if they twig that what she's basically always after is a bit of personal attention. Second, John Reed. I'm very impressed by what you've achieved. He's of a piece and a good guy, and I like spending time with him. I'm sorry you persisted with the post-1917 descent into political mania and consequent dehumanization, because it's a literary filmic cliche, and because it posits an authorial viewpoint that asserts a necessary connection between political activism and personal shrinkage, and also because it presents an audience with more difficulties than you might imagine. In some senses, most of the second half of the picture is problematic for an audience so far as Reed's concerned. If the revolution after 1917 is only chicanery, deceit and manipulations, what is the value, in an audience's eyes, of Reed's steadfast and passionate commitment to him? Is he stupid, blind, blinded, misled, betrayed? In part, this is a problem of the film's absences. I don't recall a single positive image of the revolution in Russia after 1917. Nothing of the release of art and art forms. Nothing of the far-reaching social reforms. Nothing of the concrete educational and social programs that began to transform people's standards of life. Nothing of the Allied War of Intervention, or of the real draining ravages of civil war. And yet the first half of the movie has wittily, if cautiously, suggested that Russia was the watershed, and a good thing all round, not just for the oppressed, but also for wholesome and irreverent people like the Reeds, who even began to get off again on the serious energy it releases within them. The second half of his life would soon grow to seem empty, futile, inept and stupid for an audience. Sympathy could well get withdrawn long before the end of the picture if an audience can't share in Reed's sense that what he does is right, appropriate, necessary, whatever. And I don't truly see how they can do that if they're presented with a universally unpleasant version of revolution, both in Russia and America after 1917. I don't know what was shot, so I can't really make any concrete suggestions. I raise it because it's a real concern I have about how the film will be received. Thirdly, tone. Much of the tone is witty, sure-footed, neat. Occasionally it's smart, self-serving, unserious. In general terms, I'd say by halfway or a little before, you've earned the right to let the story carry the audience and allow the drollness to fall away. I think this happens anyway to a certain extent, but I believe you could take it still further. Much of it in the second half comes from Louise, so that strengthening her earlier would inevitably deepen the tone of the second half willy-nilly. One good looped wisecrack on the deathbed after a second half stripped of jokes might be done, no? Paste. I can't be specific on this. I hate to see it a lot to know for certain. Nothing drags to me in telling the story, though I do think some of the old folk outstay their welcome from time to time. And I find the O'Neill-Louise element dull and a cul-de-sac in the main journey of the central characters. On the other hand, Nicholson's a powerful presence. It's a terrific performance. There's a sag in everything story-wise in the area of Finland, jail, Louise in New York and so on. I don't understand or much remember the scene in O'Neill's apartment. I think it holds the story up. I think I'd drop it, but I can't be sure. sure I'm on board. Well, I go on then about contract and what kind of thing. But that, in general, was my take the first time that I saw it. Since then, I've shifted a bit. I saw the DVD for the first time 2 nights ago. Watched it in 2 separate sittings, the first half and then the second half, over 2 nights. I was moved again by all the things that moved me. I was irritated again by all the things that irritated me. But I did see a fairly classy work, and a work that persisted, endured, in spite of all its errors and flaws and faults. There's something about the film that smacks of sincerity, if not honesty.
Trevor, let me give you a break.
Yeah.
Any other questions people want to ask? Bob here at the front, and I'm going to take another couple of Gerardum before we move on.
It's interesting that, of course, you chose the expression "the world turned upside down," which, of course, was the marching song of the Revolutionary Army of the United States when they were fighting the British. And
before that?
yes, but it was
before that it was actually a Tory song.
That's fine. No, but it's a very, very important song.
Absolutely.
And the world turned upside down for Thomas Jefferson. That's not important. And we could also say, well, you know, it's the old Woody Allen gag about war and Beatty's fingertips. If I wanted to come back in life and be recreated and reincarnated, I would come back as war and Beatty's fingertips. But I have to ask you, in this eulogy that you gave to John Reed, who, in a sense, was the side companion of Jack London. You would agree with me on that, wouldn't you? Well, 2 fascists together. 2 what? 2 fascists, 2 anti-Semites together. And you know, it's fascinating. Can you tell me, can you remember when the Finland station was banned by Stalin? Stalin banned it. Why? Because Stalin only appeared as a minister of nationalities. All this garbage about Jack London and John Reed, quite frankly, a total toss-up. So I'm sorry. I'd say. I'd say when was Reds first shown in the Soviet Union?
Okay, there's the question at last. Okay. When was this? A straight answer that one. Give us the day, give us the year.
You mean officially?
Yeah, officially. When was it shown in the great Soviet Union?
Okay.
You would try.
That's a clear question.
About maybe 12 years ago.
12 years ago? Oh, was that before or after?
Any other questions? They can give you a specific